Marketing RV with Lorraine and Gene Volpe, since he's not paying attention or willing to say his name.
I'm trying to get, well, first of all, I didn't know you started. You came like out of a shotgun.
That's the way it works.
That's fine. I'm okay with it, but I'm actually trying to get some photos of us so that we can social media eyes.
Is that a word?
Nope.
Okay, well, it is now.
It is now.
There you go. I like that. Well, you know, Gene, I was thinking tonight, well, first of all, we're at the porch at the Lamb Tavern in Springfield, PA.
True story.
As I look around, we're not the youngest here, but damn near close.
Now, when you say we...
I mean you and me.
No, I'm certainly the youngest here. Aside from the children that are over at the tables, but I am easily the youngest.
All right,
at least at this table.
All right, but if you include wait staff, forget about it.
No, not wait staff.
All right.
Good, yeah, that's fair. I'll go with that.
And we only preface this for those who aren't in Delco is because the Lamb Tavern is known as, you know, an old folks place, but it's a fun place. And
guess what?
Bob and I like it.
Here comes my beer.
Oh boy! Stop everything! Here comes the beer.
Thank you, sir. No. I'll be honest with you. So, like I was saying before we were setting up, I really hadn't been here since it was the Lamb Tavern years and years and years and years ago.
Which it still is, but now the bar area is the porch. Yeah, because the Lamb Tavern is a historic place. This building was built in the 1700s.
So that's why they call it the porch at the Lamb.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
But I hadn't been here forever, and we stumbled in one night just like, I was waiting for the kids to come out of dance or something stupid. And I walked in and I was like, why don't I come here more often?
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. Now here you are.
And here I am again.
So let's put this out there. First of all, we got to tweet this out a little more. If people are coming to the locations where we say we are and they're looking for an RV, guys, get with the program.
That's hilarious.
RV is Rinaldi and Volpe.
Maybe maybe someday there will be an RV.
Well, if you have a business and you want to, slap some advertising on RV and give it to us, we're all about that.
Then we'll visit places and we'll hold the podcast from inside the
RV. And like special VIP guests coming.
I
love
every second of that. Yes, that would be fun.
Otherwise, too, we would love to have more restaurants seek us out to come to their establishments, restaurant bars or whatever. Or it doesn't have to be if you have some other type of business. Now, we recently put this out on Facebook and got some interest. Got a lot of.
That's what it's built. This is what this whole concept is built on, right?
It really is, right?
So you threw something out, which I don't even know what to say. You threw it out quick, and within like 20 minutes, you had multiple private messages.
I did, yes.
One from a pretty big restaurateur.
Well, we can say Fearless Restaurants, I believe, is the chain, and
I'll see if I can Google it.
They've invited us to come to all of their establishments. There's 6 or 7 of them,
and we're gonna.
And 3 of them are on LBI, Long Beach Island, so that would be kind of cool.
Yes.
A little road trip in the summertime.
In the RV.
In the RV.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fearlessrestaurants.com. Mushaloo.
Yep.
White Dog. Autograph, which is a big one in the new one in the main line. Daddy O. Tucker's Tavern. Louie. There's 7. What's this one? Plantation Restaurant and Bar and Tucker's Tavern. I might have said that already.
So they're in University City, the Mushaloo down on the waterfront, which we are going to be.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Most likely, we'll first start out in Wayne at White Dog in Haverford. So let's just get some of our private business out over the air, Gene. They are so busy at happy hour, she can't accommodate us. She said, I can't even promise you a booth because people come and they wait for booths. They get so busy.
For happy hour.
That's
crazy.
In Haverford at the White Dog. So,
wow.
So we're at the porch at the Lamb. They were gracious to have us here. We're going to be at other locations. You got to follow us on social to find out where we're going to be, and then come out and join us. And if you're worthy, we'll put you on air.
Actually, I'm going to throw this out there. We're going to do a 2 for that night. So I just hooked up recently with the owner of, I don't know why this is just coming to me, with the owner of the Blue Octagon. Do you know what that is?
No.
You're going to know what it is. It's directly next door to the White Dog Cafe.
Really?
And so I am actually having lunch with her on Tuesday. So I think I'm going to have her come out. Maybe we'll do a tour of the Blue Octagon.
That would be great.
And then we'll have some drinks and let her talk to us about her business.
We could do podcasts from both locations.
Yeah, her place would be comfortable too because she's got some nice stuff in there.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think about that when you first sent me this email, but all right. So we're going to be out in Wayne a couple times.
Yeah, right. That would be cool.
In case you're interested, I do some consulting, and a lot of times the bribery just consists of beer, wine, and food. That's true. It's true.
No, you literally have a sandwich board that says "We'll work for food."
Correct.
Okay, well that's Gene.
We'll
like to
work for
cash.
charcuterie.
What the heck's that?
Come on, you're Italian. You don't know what that is?
Charcuterie.
Sure.
What?
Not charcuterie. What are we back on vagina chatter?
Oh, God. Here we go.
Jesus.
Here we go.
Charcuterie. It's a meat and cheese plate.
Oh.
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie?
Whatever. Something like that.
Okay.
See how fancy I am?
I think we need to find out the correct
I'll look it up while we're
pronunciation.
talking. Go, keep going. I'll look it up.
Yeah, all right.
Here we go.
Well, what we're going to talk about, I need your attention,
Go ahead, I got you.
is how to successfully tap your staff to market your brand.
Ooh.
Because it's come to my attention, Gene, a couple of things. There are a lot of companies out there, all different sizes, that really believe, and I understand why, we'll get to this, they really believe they don't need marketing and communications.
That's stupid.
Well, it would appear so, but if they've hit some sort of success without it, they tend to think they don't need it. Okay, understood to a point. But at some point as you grow, you're going to hit a wall and you're going to need some real marketing. Now, here's the other thing I've noticed, and I'm not targeting any one organization, so whoever's listening, don't get all paranoid, but I've seen this over and over again. You got, the CEO of a company or the executive this or executive that who started the business, took it to its next level. They get on Microsoft Word, they start designing stuff in Publisher or whatever, and they think, okay, damn, this looks great. I'm not a designer. I've worked with designers all my career, and I know the difference between quality work and amateur work. And if you're a multi-million-dollar organization, billion-dollar organization, I know one of these, and you're putting out stuff that's subpar, it's going to catch up with you because guess what? Your competitors are going to be looking good. I'm kind of going down a path I didn't really intend to, but utilizing your staff. So I'm also a big proponent, Gene, of marketing from the inside out. What you're doing on the inside, how your team is aligned, the culture, what they have the ability to do, not do. They're always ambassadors for your brand. You got to use them. And this is where your communication professional comes in because that's the captain of your cheerleading team.
Yeah.
Like it or not, if you're going to be successful inside out and you're going to grow, you need cheerleaders. They emanate from within. When I say cheerleaders, your brand ambassadors, your employees, your people, process, product, right? Your people. It all starts with your people. Use them. Why did I come up with this idea? Because you're this look on your face like, where the hell's she going?
No,
there's a method to my madness.
There's 1,000 things going through my head.
There's a method to my madness. There's a guy I follow on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know him personally, but somehow we ended up following each other. We both at one point worked in the financial industry. I no longer do. He does. He works for a community bank in Bucks County, PA. And it turns out his title is Senior Vice President of Deposit Services.
Okay.
This guy does more to promote his bank than I think their marketing department does. And I could be wrong, no disrespect to their marketing department, but he's always posting every day, once if not more times a day on LinkedIn, great inspirational pieces. And every now and then he'll throw in, and I'm saying rarely, throw in something about what his bank's offering, a great rate or something like that. That is using social media to the max. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. And so there's an ulterior motive there. And I'm curious to find out what that is. So what I mean by that is, if it's your business and you own a stake in the way that it runs, and if you're paying yourself and you're paying your employees and it's your business, then it makes sense for you to go out and spend as much time as you possibly can promoting your brand. Mm-hmm. You're proud of it, and I hope anyway you're proud of it. So in most cases, when it's your brand, it's easier for you to promote. When I'm a waiter working for a company and I'm not required to promote that company, there needs to be an ulterior motive.
Understood.
And what is that ulterior motive? So let's just use him as an example. Is he the brother-in-law of the CEO, right? And I'm only asking questions, right?
I don't know. I never looked into it.
No, and truth be told, I think we'll find that out, right?
We will, because we're going to have him on. He wants to come on.
I think it's a great idea because I didn't realize it was going to go down this path, but I'm actually excited by it because I think it could go 1,000 different directions. Or is there a loyalty there, and where was that loyalty built from? So I think the biggest thing that I find so I don't know if you know this, but there's a big event in South Delaware called what the heck was it? What's the one I did? The social media day. I got to go back and look, but they're sending emails now about it.
Oh yeah, the big social media event in Philly coming up.
Not social media day, which I spoke at last year.
Okay.
I had a flash talk last year at the one there.
A similar one.
But I did one in Delaware. I had a full hour, and they asked me to speak about increasing social media with your employees. Or actually, it was a little different than that, and I forget the title exactly, but it was how do you manage social media with multiple employees? Okay. So if your employees are out running amok, how do you stay on brand?
And this is something else I wanted to address in this topic as well.
All right, so I'll skip that for now. We'll come back to it. But from a perspective of incentivizing your employees, in order for them to go all out as if they were the owner, something has to take place. Their loyalty to you, the way you treat them, their compensation, a part of their job description. There has to be something there. What's this guy's name, Jim?
So
James?
Jim Fecca is his name.
Jim, okay.
And here's my thinking, and I could be wrong, but we'll find out when we speak with him.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear.
Because this is what I've done when I've been partnered with a company. If I'm excited and I believe in our product, rising tide lifts all boats. I want the whole entire organization to succeed and everybody in it, because then I succeed as well.
Yeah, you're not a dime a dozen. That doesn't happen.
Really?
Nah, that doesn't happen very often.
So, come sit down.
No, you're right. You're good.
It's all good. Yeah. Our guest for the next podcast is here.
Nice.
Meet Bob, meet Jen, and order a drink, and we'll be with you. But there's drinking.
No, it's highly recommended. She said, "Oh, you drink on this podcast? It's recommended. Loosen up." Yes. No, she'll come over. She'll come over. This is what I love about this medium.
I know.
Like, it doesn't even matter. People deliver mozzarella sticks. You just go with the flow. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference. So,
you don't talk with your mouth full.
I try.
Bob's big pet peeve. Oh my gosh!
Me too.
He says to me, "I said, Bob, you can hang out." He says, "Don't put me on the air." I said, "I won't do that to you, honey. I love you too much." And what's he do? He jumps in on his own. That
was actually
I don't think anybody would.
And
hear that.
I have to be honest. So he said, "Don't chew. Don't talk while you're chewing."
Yeah.
And that's like at my house. I can't have dinner with the family unless the TV's on, because I can't stand listening to myself chew, let alone anybody else.
Now, there's a rule in my house: no TV at the dinner table.
I need noise. I need white noise all the time. When I sleep and when I eat, I can't stand it.
Really?
I can't stand it. I'm like a psychopath.
You're like ADD on steroids.
Well, I have a low tolerance for crap. Like, if you cut me off, like if you come on the highway and you're entering the highway and you're trying to beat me, I will smash your car. Smash it.
We don't have anger issues, huh?
No, there's only a couple things that. No, I'm not an angry dude.
Do I
seem
not.
like an angry guy?
Never. No.
There's just certain things where I could hit people in the head with a sledgehammer.
Yeah,
I could hit you in the head with a sledgehammer.
All right, I need to learn these things and make sure you're not packing a sledgehammer.
I think you're safe. You're safe.
Yeah, right now. But ask anybody. I could get on your nerves real quick.
No.
So let's go back to our topic. So I think that you leverage the people who are superstars in your organization. Not everybody is going to want to be a cheerleader.
Yeah, but listen, there's got to be another thing. Well,
you can incentivize them.
No, I'm talking about you specifically. You were saying that you were that cheerleader.
Because that's my job. I'm a communications professional.
So in that case, that's what you got paid for.
Well,
right?
that and I just generally, I'm in this field because I generally have passion for it. I should say, and generally.
Hence your ulterior motive.
My ulterior motive is I get a thrill out of seeing people succeed.
Right, but
I get a thrill out of seeing people get the publicity they deserve, and I love the teams that get that.
So spin back around. That's kind of what I was saying to you. Unless you have that gene, or you're married to the CEO, and your mortgage depends on the marketing
then
of it.
You have to throw some carrots at them, whatever that is.
There's the incentivization.
Yeah,
how would you say that?
Then you have to incentivize them. Yeah.
Incentivization.
I don't know.
No, there's no way that's a word.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you have to incentivize.
Incentive.
Yeah,
you don't need incentivization. Incentive is the noun.
Well, so here's something that's interesting. I'll drop this on you because I have another business that we deal with, which is real estate.
Right.
And real estate is extremely unique. And so I'll just give you how this works. We got time, right? We have plenty of time?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's how this works. Real estate, a broker, is somebody who basically owns and runs the main office. So let's pick a real estate house. One of the big names you know.
Like Keller Williams?
Keller Williams.
Okay.
So each Keller Williams has a broker of record that's on site there, right?
That's
the broker.
Like my cousin Michael Guida in Center City.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah.
So we're going to go see him too, right? Holla at your boy, Guida. So you gotta send this to him. We're going to go down to Broad Street next.
Absolutely.
And then we'll go get sushi at down around there. But anyway, so basically there's a broker of record there. And all of the real estate agents are 1099s. They're contractors. They're their own salespeople. They're their own siloed businesses.
Okay.
So they're not employees. But what's unique about the way that works, and I think a lot of brokers still miss this, is that in most states, and I'm talking specifically in PA right now, the Pennsylvania law is that anything that the agents put out, where they're saying that they're somebody's going to kill me on this, but where they're saying they're a real estate agent or they're offering or selling a house, they have to include their broker's name and logo and information.
Okay.
So they are forced to advertise for their quote-unquote boss. And they're not the boss, but you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
So imagine if you worked for a restaurant and it was required that anytime you talked about food, you had to include the logo for Fearless Restaurants.
Okay.
You follow me on that? Mm-hmm. So it's a unique play that real estate brokerages have that they don't utilize as well as they should.
I get you.
Because if you think about this, now and I tell people this all the time. If you're a broker and you've put money into a brokerage and you care about your people, right? Then it makes sense that your name needs to be known in your local geography at least. So if you have 20 agents and you teach those agents to put out 2 pieces of content every single month, just 2.
Right.
That's 40 pieces of content that now have your logo on them every single month without you having to try by incentivizing them.
I don't understand how they don't do it naturally in that business. That business is so unique in that.
I can answer that question for you very easily.
Go ahead.
The average age of the real estate agent across the country is 57 and
you
growing.
Think that has something to do with it?
Has a lot to do with it.
Wow.
Has a lot to do with it. Most of the people I deal with in this industry are, when I go into my speaking engagements, I always say, listen, I want to start out by asking you who I'm talking to. And so what I say is, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most technical, how many people fit in the 0 to the 1 to 5 category where you may have a challenge turning your computer on? And there's a huge majority of those people that are like, will tell me, don't be embarrassed. I'm not here to embarrass you. I just want to make sure that I'm not blowing you out of the water with all this data and analytics that you're like, I don't know what this dude's talking about. I want to give you good material that you can use tomorrow, but I also want to speak to you, and I want to make sure I'm speaking to the guys that really know, that are 9s and 10s in the room.
Right.
So, but I would say at least 50 to 60% of those agents are telling me they're not great with the computer.
Oh,
and if you're not great with the computer, how are you going to be great with Twitter?
Yeah,
when I say to you Facebook advertising and you go, I boosted a post once, that's not how it works.
No.
Yeah. So there's that. I think the age group, and I'm not knocking 57-year-olds. I love them all, man. But I think it's a challenge. It's just a new technology that they just didn't. Like, people like me, I grew up with it.
Yeah.
I don't remember life without it. My kids don't know. They're going to be in VR. When I'm 57, I'm not going to know what my kids are dealing with.
They're going to be in who?
Virtual reality.
Oh.
VR. So advertising is going to change, and it's going to be AI and VR.
That change is going to happen really quickly.
Really fast. So I might be 47 and lost. I don't know, But in that industry now, it's a big deal that I think, again.
So are you saying there's a shot for younger people to get into real estate?
I think younger people that have a good hustle and have a good understanding of
now, not to be stereotypical, but young people and good hustle. Is that an oxymoron?
In some cases, but no, I've seen plenty that are in their
I have too.
mid-20s,
real go-getters.
mid-30s.
And you know what? I think that's across the board.
Yeah.
I don't think just, Gen Xers or baby boomers are particularly hustle harder than anybody else. There's it's a gene. You're either born with it or you're not.
And not only that, it's also a different hustle.
Yeah.
Like back before us, our fathers were laying bricks. That was the hustle. If you didn't lay as many bricks as you should, you didn't get paid.
Right.
Today, it's if this guy on Twitch makes $500,000 a month. That's a good hustle, but he sits in his chair and plays video games. It's not the hustle your grandfather would understand. You know what I mean?
Right.
So with the technology moving, the hustle changes.
Yeah.
And I who knows where it's going? I don't know. We just totally went down a crazy path with that.
We did, because I wasn't thinking about this, but you did bring up a good point. You stopped me in my tracks. You said, what is the incentive? And then here's my biggest mistake. I automatically assume that people are going to get it. If you want to eat and you want to succeed, then you're going to help your organization as best as you can, because you know that the rising tide lifts all boats. But you're right, not everybody will. So I think the first step in successfully tapping your staff to market your brand is to find out who among your people are your go-getters, who's actively using social media. So like Jim Fecca, for all we know, he may have no personal interest in his bank other than the fact that he works there.
Right, could be.
And he's a head of deposit services. He's not in marketing.
Could be, but I doubt it.
It could be. Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm excited.
My point is this. If he is, because there are those people that just are, inherently passionate and real go-getters. And if that's the case with him, look what he's doing for his bank. Like, I see him and I think, oh my gosh, I right away looked up the bank.
Yep.
and we'll name it later on. And I thought, I think I want to open an account there.
That's crazy.
Only to find out that they're not in my area. They're in Bucks County. So,
okay.
And that's why that's the only reason I'm not.
Yeah, but if he's get 40 more people thinking like you do, he's golden.
Then he can open a branch down here, right?
Right, seriously.
I know.
Or if he's got 39 people in his area
exactly.
that are watching that too,
exactly.
you know.
And I think that anybody can do that with their organization if they find out who the cheerleaders are, who the people are that naturally are going to cheerlead.
It's so easy to figure
really
that out.
Is.
It's so
really
easy
is.
to figure it out.
And here's the other step that's necessary in a lot of companies, all sizes. Again, if they don't see the importance of communication and marketing.
Yo, look at that! Look at that martini.
It's a pretty nice looking martini.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
no,
that's worth interrupting for.
Well, it's like the bling. You can't help but notice,
True
right?
True story.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, if you don't have communications and marketing in your company, there are several reasons you need to establish it. We can talk ad nauseum. In fact, that's what this whole podcast is about. But one thing you definitely need is a social media policy, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Just like you said. So you find out who the active social media people are. You can't force them to change the way they do social media, but you can force them, or I should say force is a little strong, but
right.
You can give them guides as to what not to do regarding your brand.
No, hold on. If I'm your employer and you're an at-will employee, I can force you.
No, you can't force me to change pictures on my LinkedIn. It's my personal thing.
No, I can't, but I could also fire you for extenuating causes because I don't like it.
Okay, you can, or you can also tell me that if you're going to be negative, political, or this or that, I don't want you on my team. But you can't tell me, just a regular employee, on his or her own social media page, that I have to tweet about the company or this or that, or you know what I mean?
No,
exactly.
for sure. No.
This all needs to be spelled out in the social media policy.
Yeah, no, and you can see I'm looking here because I'm trying to pull up that we were talking about that presentation I gave at Delaware last year.
And while you're looking, I think what's important is that you approach this social media policy, you approach your employees in a positive light, not with this, shaking my finger, don't do this, don't do that.
Absolutely.
But, hey, let's do this together, and if you're doing this and you're doing that, and then, like you said, incentivize them. Hey, if you can get X amount of followers to follow us and then, you'll get this kind of bonus, that kind of gift card, whatever. But utilize your staff, for crying out loud. There's 10, 15, 25, 1,000 people, whatever your staff is, who can be marketing your company at almost no cost to you.
It's hard to do because most people like to use their own social spaces, their own stuff.
That's fine.
It's hard to do.
That's fine.
But if you do it, it pays humongous dividends.
And again, you just find the ones who are good at it. The ones who like doing it anyhow, who are naturally going to be your cheerleaders, and you get that squad together. I like the cheerleading analogy, and no, I was never a cheerleader. But you get a captain, your communications marketing person, who's the captain. You develop your squad, you incentivize them, and you watch it grow, and you give them the rope. You've got to trust them that they're going to do the right thing. But you got to monitor it too. And if they start doing things that make your company look bad, then you got to kind of, pull the reins in a little bit. It's not that difficult. I really don't think it is that difficult.
Well, here's the difficult part. There's only one difficult part, and that is liability. And that's the one thing, and it also has a lot to do with the business that you're in too.
It does.
Like in certain cases, it's not a big deal. Like if you go out and let's say you're in the restaurant business and you task your waiters and waitresses with putting some great content out, and they make a mistake and say, we have Yingling on tap tonight for $250, and it's really Blue Moon and it's $450. You might have a couple upset customers, but you're not going to lose a license over it, right? Yeah. Whereas if you work in a hospital or you work for a doctor's office and you accidentally release a patient's last name, there's HIPAA violations. That's a legal suit,
Again, it depends on your industry. Taking all that into consideration, it still can be done. Let's say.
Oh no, I'm not detracting from that. It has to be done now, right? But I think I also don't want to be remiss and kind of leave this out there and then have a doctor call us and go, we did what you said and we got sued.
Yeah. Well, don't sue us.
No.
In fact, bring Gene or me in, and we'll do a little consulting. Gene
little
especially
audit.
On this. Yeah,
we'll do an audit.
We'll speak to your staff, and I'll get them energized and talk about the cheerleading, and Gene will give you the exact how-to with the social media. But there's other ways to successfully tap your staff to market your brand. How about, here's where I love to marry the traditional and the new media. Your staff are your brand ambassadors. Everywhere they go, any networking they do, they're saying, I work for ABC Company. So incentivize them there. Give them the long leash they need to, be happy about telling everybody that, yes, I work for this company. It's a great company. I mean, most people know this. It's an old concept. But there are things we can do to better utilize our in-house ambassadors that I think in a lot of companies are underutilized. Did you want to say something?
Well, I found the presentation that I gave. I was specifically looking for the social media policy. And it was like, keep your eye on defamation, libel, false advertising, copyrights and fair use. But the policy itself should include, the definition of it, general strategy, responsibilities, prohibited behavior, what you can't do. Because reality of it is that when you do put something out there, if there's an expectation set where you can't say X, Y, and Z, or you have to say this, then it makes it easier for me to monitor that and make sure. And if I get into trouble, I can kind of protect myself because the policy's in place, right?
Have you written social media policies?
No.
I actually have.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't even take that on. Even if somebody said to me, "I want you to do it for me," I wouldn't do it.
Really?
No, because
well,
I'm not an attorney.
They vet it with their attorney,
Well, that's what I would do. I would recommend them to an attorney and then take a fee.
Yeah.
From the attorney, a referral fee.
I would give them
like a template.
The template and. Because I've done this for a company before, and then their attorney has looked at it, just to make sure all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed. But you're a fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, right?
Big time.
All right, so he had a post the other day, which I thought was really good, and this is something that kind of goes under this too. So you can successfully tap your cheerleaders within your organization, but as many as cheerleaders as you have, maybe for every 10 cheerleaders, you may have one little bit of cancer.
Okay.
Gary says this. While you might need to fire your most talented employees. So even if an employee is the most talented, if he or she is a cancer in your organization, bringing morale down, bringing people down, they got to go.
I don't disagree with that a little bit.
That's a tough thing.
It is, except for here's what I've noticed about working with businesses. As talented as that employee is, the stress that they lay on other people retards their greatness.
Exactly his point.
It does, and I've seen it in the real world. And I mean, there's no question.
We've all lived it, right?
Yeah. And so, here's the thing. I remember, and this might not completely relate, but I do remember this really well. So I used to do some hiring for Verizon in our area, and we were in a very highly technical area. Like the guys that worked with us were the doctors of IT. Like, these guys were the best in the world. When I was there, we had a couple what they called CCIEs, and at the time there were like 1,400 of them in the world. Like, these guys were top level,
Right.
And I remember hiring people, and I would say to people, I love this guy. Like, I got a good gut feel, and I just feel like the loyalty's there. I think he would be the guy that was like, how can I work extra? Like, that character that you want.
Yeah.
But they didn't know the technologies that we knew. And I remember a boss came to me and said, let me ask you a question. Is it easier to teach somebody the technology or the loyalty?
Oh.
And I said, shit.
It's always the technology.
It's easy. I was in charge of the processes.
Right.
Or the processes. And so I had documents already I could put in front of them and force them to learn what we needed them to learn. Mm-hmm. But you cannot teach somebody drive, loyalty, all that stuff. And so we started, and I'll tell you right now. I walked into one, my buddy Joe Belomo. I'm giving him some love, and I'll tag him on this when we do it.
Yo, Joe.
Joey Bag of Donuts, we call him. But he came in, and he and I had a conversation before the second manager came in, and within 7 minutes, I knew we were hiring him. Like, really? I just knew it. And
because he had the personality.
Yeah, we didn't talk anything technical. I didn't ask him about where he was. I couldn't care less. I just knew it.
Yeah.
And we left, and I said, the guy came to me and said, what'd you think? I said, I need you to make your own mind up, because I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to skew you.
It, yeah.
And at the end of it, he's like, that's our guy. I said, what did he know technically? He goes, he didn't know. You didn't ask him? And I'm like, no. He goes, I said, I just knew coming out of there. And I just had lunch with Joe, 19 years later, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's
still there?
He's still there.
Oh, good for him.
He is still there. Another one of my best friends that I worked with is still there. Mm-hmm. I left, and we had lunch together. The guy's just salt of the earth. I mean, he's one of my brothers. And it was because I knew it coming in. Like, I grew up in the city, so you have that gut.
Right.
So I knew it, and I thought to myself, this is exactly what he meant when he said, you can change and teach tech. you can't change and teach loyalty. If the guy's an asshole, he's an asshole.
Right.
You're going to deal with it forever, right?
So my big question is then why do so many organizations keep people who are not only cancers, but actually don't do the work or don't get it technically? And some do. I don't know if they're afraid of lawsuits or whatever, but
Yeah, that could be part of it.
we'll never know.
No, I heard.
But
listen,
a lot of times when the cancer stays, and you know what, Good to Great is all about this. If you've ever read or listened to Good to Great, Jim Collins' book, it's all about putting the right people on the bus and in the right seats on the bus. And again, I'm trying to bring this full circle as
Yep.
we try to wrap up. You can successfully tap your people to market your industry if you don't want to pay a lot of money for, traditional marketing or new media marketing or any kind of marketing. Use what you have. You have your people, your process, your product. Use them.
Yeah.
Find the good people. And if there's a cancer, you need to route it or it's going to bring everybody down and you're not going to have a cheerleading squad.
and make it fun.
Exactly.
Like, listen, I'm thinking about myself. Like, imagine if we held every Thursday or Friday
Right.
a prep for the following week in marketing, and I got 7 of my best guys together, got in an office at lunch, had some free pizza and a glass of wine, and we
Oh.
just strategized for 7 days.
It would be fun.
It would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to work there,
Yeah.
right? So real quick before you go, Dave Joslin, who was our guest on episode 6, I think
Right.
it was, right? Just sent me a text message, and he says, "Hey, sorry to bother you during Vagina Chatter taping.
Oh, get out of here.
But wanted to remind you we need to still catch up about some X, Y, and Z we talked about. Tell Lorraine I said hello, and I can't wait to be at the meatball tasting in her kitchen. Have fun."
Oh, so
That sounds to me like a challenge.
pressuring me to have. Okay,
I didn't
all
say
right,
anything.
No,
He
we're
said
gonna
it.
we're gonna do this.
I'm just reading you what he said.
We're
that's
gonna
all.
do this. All right, pick a day, and we'll all be at my house.
Love you, Dave Joslin.
Yeah, hi, Dave. Way to get a shout out, Dave.
That was perfect timing.
Well, what are we promoting? Dave's real estate or the isogenics?
Listen to episode 6. Let him do it.
There you go.
Go back and listen to it.
We're going to wrap this one up. We're going to bring a guest on who I think of as a serial entrepreneur and a super networker. No, I'm going to call her a super connector in the next episode. So come back.
I like it.
Follow us on all the social. We're Marketing RV with Rinaldi and Volpe.
I need you to go to iTunes, follow the Marketing RV, subscribe to it, and leave us a review. That'll really help us. If you like the content we're dishing out and giving to you and want us to keep doing it, go give us some love out on iTunes.
Please, thank you. Ciao.